a garden fence built by our neighbour Richard and myself to make sure that the dogs are kept one side and we the other. Fences divide up many properties all over the UK, whether they're big ones or little ones. They mark out our territory, and it's a dividing wall. It's a line not to cross, and in some estates or some streets in London we know how dangerous it is when you end up the wrong side of one of those lines. In our final reading of Jesus' teaching of Matthew chapter 5, his final example is talking about loving enemies. Verse 43, "You've heard it was said, love your neighbours and hate your enemy. I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven." Jesus is challenging the law, the righteousness of the Pharisees, who said that Jews were to love their neighbour, fellow Jews, but were entitled to hate their enemies, to see their people not like them, Gentiles, as dogs or as aliens. And they were ignoring in that the very heartbeat of God. And Jesus shows us what the heartbeat of God is, which is to actually love our enemies. Jesus didn't spend his time with the rich or the famous or the righteous ones. He spent his time with the tax collectors and the sinners. He welcomed those who were aliens and cast-offs by society. And the Spirit of Christ in us is the same Spirit that drives us to break down dividing walls of hostility that divide society. It's so easy in British society to divide up with the haves and have-nots, the rich, the poor, the black, the white, the LGBTQ and the straight. We have ways of marking our territories and marking of who's included and who isn't. But for us who are Christians, for us who have the Spirit of Christ, we are to break down those dividing walls. We're to recognise in ourselves bias towards one group or another. It seems that the New Testament shows us a way of living that welcomes everybody. One of the first stories in the New Testament I love so much is the conversion of the Ethiopian eunuch, in today's language, genderqueer, and welcome him into the kingdom. And so I want to encourage us as we come out of lockdown, as people start to crowd their way into our churches, that we are showing the stranger, the alien, people from different backgrounds and colour, we're showing them the authentic Jesus Christ when they meet us.